do a couple quips on passing. So let's talk about passing half guard. The first thing about passing half guard is we have to get into a half guard, then we have to get past knee shields, then we want to get to a fundamental starting position. From the fundamental starting position, we're looking for one of 4 passing positions. Once we get to one of those 4 passing positions, we're going to use the same formula to finish, which is going to be point the eyes one way, point the knees the other way, and then use your free foot to pry out your trapped leg. So to take it from the top, let me just sit up and scoot back just a bit. Let's say we're taking it from a butterfly guard here. We're going to put 2 thumb posts on. We're going to put our head down on our partner's shoulder, and I'm going to look for an underhook on the opposite side. As I underhook, I go shin over the ankle to prevent being placed in a butterfly half. You take the underhook, I push down on my partner's knee, and I step wide into that knee. Then I cover, and we're in a half guard. Here. Now, once we're in this half guard, we're going to walk our partner's hip down. If I do this, I wind up in a half guard with no knee shields. My partner will probably bring his frames in like this, and we will be looking to get into our fundamental starting position. So let's look at what that is. We can see that one of the parts of the fundamental start is my head is across my partner's center line. Another one is my cross face here. It's under the head, and I use my shoulder to make my partner look away. You'll see that I also have an underhook here. Now these 2 pieces are harder to see, but my knee that's trapped is currently off the floor, and my free leg is blocking my partner's hip. So let's just change the angle now. So we're in a butterfly guard position. We go double thumb post. My head comes in, my shin goes over the top, and we look for an initial underhook. I take a wide step and push down on my partner's knee. Then I collapse everything down to here. He locked me up in a half guard, and we're looking for our fundamental start. Here comes the cross face, my head across the center line, and my underhook. My left knee is blocking his hip, and my right leg comes up off the floor. This is our fundamental starting position. Now, let's come back a little bit, because what we need to cover is the low knee shield and the high knee shield. Usually what will happen is, when you go to pass someone's half guard, is they're going to put these knee shields in place to prevent you getting to that fundamental start. Cross face, underhook, and head across. So we have to get rid of knee shields if we're ever going to get to that fundamental start and then proceed to pass our half guard. This would be a low knee shield, and this one would be a high knee shield. We'll just really quickly look at how to deal with them, one method for each, and then we'll move on. I'm going to place a power hand on my partner here, and I'm going to get a hold of his pant leg like this. Against a high knee shield, I want to get rid of his top knee and bottom knee by making his knees the same height. Once his knees are the same height, I just take my elbow to the inside. If he does nothing about this, there's an easy cross knee pass. So what's always going to happen is, as my elbow goes to the inside and I cross my knee, his low knee shield will kick in. Low knee shield, like this. But my knee is starting to break through. So a high knee shield, we can convert into this position here. A low knee shield, we're going to use a leg weave. We're going to swap our power hand for a bottom power hand. And we're going to start looking to create a knee slide or a leg weave type of guard pass. Because of that threat, my partner might want to capture my knee and place me in a standard half guard, which allows me to get past the low knee shield. Now I cover his tailbone. I take my right knee and elbow together to flatten out his hip. Then I cross face, stay across the center line, and get into the fundamental starting position. So that would just be one method for dealing with a high knee shield and a low knee shield to get into the fundamental starting position from half guard. Once we're there, we can actually start passing. We're in our partner's half guard, and we've got cross face, underhook, head across, knee blocking, and the trap knee off the ground. When we're in a position like this, our first passing position is we take an elbow pry inside the leg, and we free the knee of the trapped leg. Not that big of a change. This is our first position. Our second position is when we take our knee from our partner's top hip down to their bottom hip into a cross knee type position. Our third position is when we go to a 3/4 mount and we switch to a cross face on the other side. And our fourth position happens usually on the way to the third position. Your partner tries to overthrow you to that side, and you backstep into this position here. And this would be our fourth position. All four positions have a trapped leg and a free leg. All four positions allow you to turn your partner's knees one way and their eyes the other way. And all four positions, we want to exaggerate the knees going one way and the eyes going the other way to put a fault in our partner's spine. Once that fault is in their spine, you can use your free leg to pry yourself out of their half guard and actually resolve the guard pass. Almost all of these can be completed with side control on either side or with the mount position, depending on your partner's response to you. So now, here is our fundamental starting position with my knee trapped. Our first passing position, we take the elbow pry on the inside and we remove our trapped knee. Now, I want to exaggerate my crossface by reaching for my partner's armpit and dragging him in along the floor with my elbow. That will exaggerate the turn I can put into him, looking this direction here, to his left. My right heel pulls towards my butt, and that exaggerates the direction his knees turn, to the other side, this time to his right. Now I can use my free leg to pry out my trapped leg, and we end up with a nice guard pass. So that's our first position. We had our leg trapped, but now our knee is free. I point my partner's eyes one way and his knees the other way. Once I've done that, I use my free leg to pry out my trapped leg, and I can resolve the pass. Now in our second position, we're going to use the same idea. This time, instead of going for the first position to pass, I cross my knee down to the floor. Again, my partner's knees are turned one direction. I just need his eyes to point the other way. So I can use crossface and underhook to do that. I could swap to a head trap crossface. The important idea is that his eyes point one way and his knees point the other way. As long as that's true, I can use my free leg to pry out. If he's holding my heel, I'll push his top leg. If he's holding my shoelaces and toes, I'll push his bottom leg. Free myself from his legs, and we go in and finish our guard pass. Okay, so in our first position and our second position, we point our partner's knees one way and their eyes the other way. Then the free leg pries us out. So, going further than that, if we have our fundamental start here, our first position, we free the knee. Our second position, we place the knee on the floor. Our third position goes across the body like this. Now I make a switch. I use my head, and then I swap my crossface, and I take a back step and sit on my partner's legs. Now his knees are trapped pointing one way. I reinforce my crossface as always by dragging him in, and I make him look away from his own knees. I pull his knees above his belt with my legs and grips, and I use my free leg to pry myself out, and we get into a nice guard pass. So that'll be our third one. And again, eyes and knees going opposite directions, and the free leg pries you out. Finally, we've got our fourth position. We go from fundamental start. We free the knee of the trap leg for one. We cross it for two. We move towards a three-quarter mount for three. But on the transition between three and the finish, my partner overthrows me, and we land in four. In position four, as always, we take our crossface into the armpit, and we drag our partner in. We use that crossface by bringing our shoulder towards the palm of our hand and making our partner look away. From here, I drag everything up. I push down on the leg to pry myself free, and we can go into the finish. What you'll notice is that a lot of the finishes can start to look similar to each other. In this position 3 and 4, we ended up going to the side control. But very often, let's say, we're here, and as I make my way to position 3, perhaps I feel my partner trying to overthrow me, and he doesn't quite make it. So I come back to position 3. I set that crossface in, I make him look the opposite direction as his knees are pointing, and then I find my free leg, shoelaces go in, and we pry our way into the mount. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, a lot of times we'll be able to finish these guard passes going to side control on one side or the other, or by making your way to the mount. Again, the big idea is you get into someone's half guard, you deal with their knee shields, high or low, then you get to the fundamental start. From the fundamental start, you're looking for one of these 4 positions. Once you're in one of these 4 positions, you're looking to keep their eyes pointing one way, their knees pointing the opposite way. Then you can take your free leg and pry yourself into side control on either side or the mount position.